Welcome. In this video, I'm going to go over my favorite heroes to play for Marvel Champions, the card game. So down at the table, I've lined up what my list looked like about 9 months ago when I did this, with Captain America at the top spot and Star-Lord at the end. And just like in that video, pretty much the same thing applies here. This is not who I'm considering to be the most powerful villains. This is the order for the heroes with my play style. So for that, I'm usually playing solo or with 2 players, and I generally play with aggression or justice. And with revising this list this time, I did not go back and look at this. So my new list definitely changes some things. So some things that really popped out to me was characters that I just don't identify with in the movies or the comics. So Guardians is a team that really doesn't interest me that much. For the new Spider-Verse characters, I think I was more excited about the villains than them themselves, but I did finally break down and watch Into the Spider-Verse to get a little bit more backstory on each of those. But just growing up, most of my comics were DC, or in the Marvel it was X-Men and Avengers, so those are the characters that have more nostalgia for me, so I'm more likely to gravitate towards those characters. So with this list here, we have 25, and we have 9 more coming in, so we're going to end up with 35 heroes. So in our last release, we got Spider-Ham in the spider suit. Then before that, we got Ironheart with Nova. Before that, we had Sinister Motives, which had Spider-Man Miles Morales and Ghost Spider. Then we had Vision and Valkyrie, and War Machine are the 9 that we're going to be introducing into this. So as usual, I'm going to start from the end and move our way up towards the top. So if you're a Guardians fan, I apologize in advance, but Star-Lord is still one here that I don't enjoy playing. Nothing's changed from last time. He's got great stats. He can deal a lot of damage, just not a character that I identify with. And basically this list is broken down in what I would consider 3 tiers. We've got a tier of characters at the bottom that I'm really never thinking of playing with again unless somebody has a theme that they really want me to work it in. Then, of course, we're going to have our top tier that I'm always thinking about playing with these characters. And then, of course, the mid tier, which I'll work in just depending on the people I'm playing with, the villain we're going up against, what theme we're trying to get, and the difficulty. So then at spot 34, Nebula is going down here with Star-Lord. Then at 33, Gamora really jumps out from the front row all the way to the back. Then I Am Groot. Rocket Raccoon at 31. And then Wasp brings us in at 30. Then Drax is going back to finish out that row with the majority of the Guardians there. So we got one more slot back here. That's going to be our first new one. So looking through here, that is going to go to Valkyrie. So thwart of 1, attack of 2, defense of 1. Death Perception is a hero action. Play the set-aside Death Glow upgrade as if it were in your hand. And that card is attached to an enemy. When attached enemy is defeated, set this card aside, out of play. Valkyrie defeated that enemy, ready her. And of course, a lot of her kit is about modifying her attack or how she's attacking against enemies that have this card. So hand size of 5, hit points of 12. So a little weak here, but her attack can really be boosted depending on who this gets attached to. Alter Ego, recovery of 4. Just setting this aside, out of play. And as an action, you can detach this and set it aside, out of play. So if you attach it to the villain to make an attack, then you flip over, you can take an action to take it off to put on a minion later. Hand size of 6. So basically just playing through that, I found you really do need to have a minion-heavy enemy to make this the most fun. So she does have some cards that help. So like with the Dragon Fang, +1 attack, +2 while attacking the enemy with the Death Glow attached. +4 hit points and aerial there. Have at thee, dealing 7 damage to an enemy. It gets overkill if the Death Glow is attached. So cards like that. She does have cards to help you go find minions, depending on what's going on. But just did not resonate with me. And basically this back row here is what I would consider my low tier. Usually if I'm sitting down to play a game, those are characters that definitely not thinking about. So mid tier, We'll work into Black Panther at 27. Hulk at 26. And She-Hulk at 25. Then Hawkeye's making a jump down to 24. And a Morlock down to 23. Scarlet Witch jumping back to 22. Then we're bringing in one of our new ones, and that is going to be Ghost Spider. Thwart of 1, attack of 2, defense of 3. Dizzying reflexes as a response after you resolve an interrupt or responsibility on an event. Ready, Ghost Spider. So that's what she's really built around, trying to position yourself so that she can do something. Then you play an event from your hand with an interrupt or response to ready her. Hand size of 5, hit points of 10. Recovery of 3. As an action, choose to either shuffle a ticket to the multiverse from your discard pile into your deck or ready George Stacy. And a hand size of 6. So her cards are basically a lot of responses and interrupts. So you've got a Ghost Kick. So after you use your basic power, deal 6 damage to an enemy. So you want to attack with this. Then flop that out to deal another 6 damage, which is going to ready you. Or after you use a basic power, remove 5 threat from a scheme. And of course, these can be done on the defensive side too. So I could be attacked, defend for 3. Then I can do a response to do these items also. I've got this punch here that's going to cancel the effects of when revealed and deal some damage. Web binding can cancel an activation. Then we have some web bracelets that after you're doing an interrupt or response, you can exhaust this to draw a card. George Stacy, luck just never worked out for me whenever I'd use him. Basically, you can attach events from your hand face down and play them as if they were part of your hand. But either I would always get set up where I had to remove him from the game or discard him. So it just never worked out. So a lot of neat mechanics, but just did not fit in my play style there. So Ghost Spider at 21. Then right next to her, we are going to bring out Nova. Thwart of 1, attack of 1, defense of 2. As a response, after you use one of his basic powers, you can ready his Super Nova helmet. And that is giving him the Aerial trait, Hero Resource, exhaust this, generate a wild resource. So for me, I found him to be best with a lot of low-cost events. So basically, use that to help pay for it, attack or do something with him to ready this, and then you get to use this again. So there were his stats there. Hand size of 5, 10 health. Recovery of 3. It's an alter ego action. Spend a resource of any type. Search your deck and discard pile for its helmet. Add it to your hand. Put it into play instead if you paid for it using a wild resource. So turn 1, a lot of times you can go ahead and get this and put it in play for free and use it as needed. And a lot of his cards are going to be double the number of wild resources generated while playing for this card. So remove 3 threat. Dealing 4 damage. Then unleash Nova Force. Hero action till the end of the round. Each time Nova defeats an enemy or removes the last threat from a scheme, ready Nova and draw a card. So you can get some wild combos going on, just continually readying and drawing cards with that. Connection to the World Mine, wild resource, but does not count against your hand size. And just some more support cards. I think what hurts him the most for me is I know absolutely nothing from him in the comic verse, but still get some neat combos going out. Then Thor, right where I want him, spot 19. Then moving up the list some, we'll push these back. Spot number 18 is going to be Miss Marvel. A lot of fun, especially with her new Disney show out there. Get a good idea of what she can do. Then Spectrum at 17. At 16, back to our new stuff, we are bringing in War Machine. Thwart of 1, attack of 2, defense of 2, locked and loaded. As a response, after you change to this form, place 5 ammo counters on War Machine. So he's all about using his cards, spinning the ammo counters to deal a lot more damage. Hand size of 5, health of 10. Alter Ego, recovery of 3. It's an action, choose a War Machine card in your discard pile and shuffle it into your deck. Force response. After you change to this form, you lose all your ammo. Hand size of 6 on this side. So he's got a lot of tech weapons that he can bring in and use as ammo counters. So exhaust this, deal a damage to an enemy. May remove an ammo counter from War Machine to ready this. So exhaust that for damage, spin a counter to ready it. So you can take out a lot of small minions or take care of tough. Got a missile launcher, exhaust it, remove an ammo counter, deal 2 damage to an enemy, gains ranged. The gauntlet gun, generate a wild resource for a war machine event and place an ammo counter on war machine. And an upgraded chassis, giving him a tough status. Iron Man can come in and go searching for an upgrade. Munitions bunker, you can start placing additional ammo counters on there. Just a lot of different things to play off the ammo counters. So a lot of fun to play. Then right next to him, going to bring in Spider-Man Miles Morales. He's got 2 for his thwart, attack, and defense. His fun part of these 2 abilities here, Venom Blast, for special, deal 2 damage to an enemy and stun that enemy. And Spider Camouflage special, gives Spider-Man a tough status card and confuse an enemy. So a lot of stunning and confusing being thrown around here. Hand size of 5, hit points of 9. Recovery of 4, and a response after you change to this form, shuffle a Spider-Man card from your discard pile into your deck. Hand size of 6 there. And in his set, we've got 2 web shooters, which are great. Bring those in to get 3 counters. We can spend those as a hero resource to generate wild resources. Gank Lee to help us draw some cards. Power within, we've got 2 upgrades here. Hero response, after you use a basic power, discard this to resolve our Venom Blast ability. Same thing here, except we're going to resolve our Spider Camouflage ability. Swing in, removing threats, and if we paid for this using mental, use the Spider Camouflage. Couple of those, then the web shots. If we paid for this, deal for 4 damage. If paid with energy, do the Venom Blast. So just think, nice way to get ready. So a lot of fun to play, trying to figure out how to get those abilities off for stunning and confusing, and their additional abilities of getting a tough status and dealing damage. So Spider-Man Miles Morales at 15, then at 14, we're bringing in Vision. 4 to 2, 0 for attack and defense. Density manipulation as an action. Change mass form by flipping your mass form upgrade over. Hand size of 5 and 11 hit points. So he's got another card that comes into play with him. So depending on what form he's in, we're going to get different abilities. So if we're in mass form, he gets +2 attack and +2 defense. And a response, after you change to this form, you get to draw a card. And then if you go intangible, can't attack or defend, but you reduce the amount of damage he takes from each attack by 2. So he can just sit around there and have things hit him, and he takes no damage with that. Alter Ego, recovery of 3. While you're in dense form, you get +2 recovery. While you're in intangible form, you get +1 hand size and set up. Put your mass form upgrade into play. So his cards are playing off of what form you're in. So if you're in dense form, prevent all damage, stun the attacking enemy. His cape, while you're in dense form, retaliate 1. Intangible, stalwart. That's always fun as a hero to have. Play in dense form to deal 5 damage, the cost of 2. With piercing, solar beam. If you're in dense form, deal 7 damage to an enemy. If you're in tangible form, remove 5 threat from a scheme. So disruption. So just a lot of things playing off your form. Then a nice combo here of Hickory Branch Lane. It's an alter ego action. Exhaust this card, search your deck and discard pile for an android ally and add it to your hand. Vivian's a nice android ally, so while you're in intangible form, she comes in and gets +2 thwart, or in dense form, +2 attack. So coming in with a 1-3 or a 3-1 is always good. So Vision at the 14 spot. Then at the 13 spot, bringing in one of the new ones, and that's going to be the Spider Suit. So this one's got a neat mechanic. It's got 2 cards for our identity. So if you're in Penny Parker's side, recovery 4, hand size of 4, hit points of 14. Bring in our Spider Suit inactive side. It's an alter ego action. We can exhaust this to draw 2 cards. And whenever we change form, we're going to flip both of these cards. So then we have an interface over here. So we've got 2 for thwart, attack, and defense. Ability here, exhaust an interface upgrade you control to generate that upgrade's new resources. Hand size of 3, which I thought was going to be a huge problem, but there's so many options when playing with this. Her kit has 1, 2, 3, 4 other interfaces, so it's going to have 5 interfaces. You can exhaust them to get the resources on them. So you've got a wild there, a wild here with the host spider, or you can use its ability to exhaust this to ready the Spider Suit. Then we have the mental, physical, and energy. So with this one, if you make an attack, you can exhaust it for +2 attack. If you defend, you can exhaust that for +2 defense. Or if you're thwart, you can exhaust this for +2 thwart. And of course, what's really needed to make that work is, since you only have a hand size of 3, there's 3 cards in here that let you go find what you want. So as a hero action, ready each interface upgrade you control, or search your deck and discard pile for an interface upgrade and add it to your hand. So you can go through and find those key interface cards that you'll need. I also have Ant-Man and Uncle Ben. It's an action, exhaust this and discard the top 2 cards of your deck. 3, if you're in alter ego form, and then add each spider card discarded this way to your hand. So helping on both forms to get cards put in your hand. Then of course, if you do a web trap and you pay for this using at least 1 resource from your sync ratio ability, you'll stun that enemy in addition to the 5 damage. Or over here, if you use one from a sync ratio, you remove 3 threat from a scheme, then you can remove from 3 threat from a scheme again. It can be the same scheme or a different one. Spider Command helps you draw more cards or ready an interface you have. And a nice Venom ally there. So after your enters play, you place a sim counter on her for each resource generated from the Spider Suit's sync ratio ability. She'll get +1/+1 for each sim counter. So potentially you've got a 5 thwart, 5 attack ally with 3 health. So this being one of the newest one, I'm not sure if she's going to go down the list or further up the list as I play with her more, but definitely a lot of fun to work out that puzzle of how to get her abilities going off, so you have a lot of resources there. Next, we're having Spider-Woman come in at spot 12, and then spot 11 is Captain Marvel, who's moved up. I'm enjoying playing her now with the Shield Justice cards that came in the Sinister Motive set. And at 10, Iron Man. He's going up my list because I'm having fun building with him again. Then at 9, our original Spider-Man stays there. At 8, Black Widow moves over. 7, Quicksilver speeds down just a little bit. Then at spot 6, we're bringing in Spider-Ham. Thwart of 2, attack of 1, defense of 1. So each tune counter on Spider-Ham can be spent as if it were a wild resource, and his Spider Nonsense ability is a response after he takes any amount of damage, place a tune counter on him. So hand size of 5, health of 12. So what's fun about him is basically I'm not defending with allies anymore. I'm letting people hit him to help give us resources. So basically I'm flipping back and forth a lot, which works with him because he's got a nice recovery of 5. So I can take a lot of damage and flip over, heal, and then next turn heal again and get him near full health again. And after you make a basic recovery, you get another tune counter, hand size of 6 on this side. So he's about building up all these additional resources. And his kit, he's got a great card here, Organic Webbing, gives him +1 thwart, but as a hero action, exhaust this and remove a tune counter from him to ready Spider-Ham, and he gains the aerial trait until the end of the phase. So a lot of times I can start the turn here, heal for 5, flip over, spend a token to ready, and then do something else with him. Daily Beagle's another card to enjoy. Just as an alter ego action, place a tune counter on him. It's got a hammer to hit for 1 and potentially do some overkill with another +2 attack. Cartoon Physics is great because when your identity would take any amount of damage, discard this, wiggle your body and prevent all but 1 of that damage. Petulant Pig, having the villain hit you to take damage to give you resources, and then you get to draw 3 cards out of it. So a lot of fun in this one. It is a bit dangerous because sometimes you can just let things hit you until you take too much damage, but not sure if he's going to stay up top or if it's just new, but we'll see where he goes. And then we're going to get into our top 5 now. So we still have Ironheart left. So Doctor Strange is coming down to the top 5 or the 5 spot. Then Ant-Man is flipping into spot number 3 or 4. The 3 spot is going to be Ironheart. And because of her, that's why Iron Man is moving up the charts, because I just really enjoy the building aspect. So with her, what we're trying to do is get these progress counters on her, spin those to ready her, and then swap her with the next version. So you can see her thwart goes up on all these. So she starts with a thwart of 1, attack of 2, defense of 3. And as we move up, thwart goes up with each of those. Once we get 6 progress counters, we bring this one in. 6 more counters, we'll bring that one in. So here, ready, move up. This one, ready, get a tough status and move up. And with this one, remove a progress counter to deal 2 damage. And you can pile up a lot of progress counters on her to really put out a lot of damage at the end. But also with these, the hand size goes from 4, 5, and 6. Of course, has a health of 10. Their alter ego side has got a recovery of 3 on all of them. This is one you start the game, so you can spend a mental resource to place a progress counter on her. Hand size of 6, though, on all those versions. This one is to spend a resource, mental resource or 2 of any type to place a counter on her. And this one's just spend a resource of any type to place a counter on her. She's all about building up. And there's plenty of cards in her kit to help her do that. So Stroke of Genius, after you spend this card, place a progress counter on your identity and draw a card. Ronnie Williams, alter ego action, heal 2 or get a progress counter. Flyover, remove 3 threat from a scheme and get a progress counter. And if you removed all the threat on that scheme, you get 2 instead. Photon Beam, dealing 4 damage, gaining a counter. Or if you defeated that enemy, get 2 counters. Then 2 cards that really help you go while you're building her. Plus 2 hit points on both of these. This one is Exhaust, remove threat from a scheme equal to her version number. So from 1 to 3. This one is deal damage to an enemy equal to your version number. So 1 to 3 damage there. We've got some card draw. Look at the top 2 cards, add 1 to your hand, discard the other. This one is great late game for sure. Choose X different options where X is equal to her version number. Search your deck for an Ironheart card and add it to your hand. Give her a tough status and ready her. And a nice ally and event at the end. And then, of course, number 2 spot, really on any given day at the moment, these will swap. But right now I'm still keeping Captain America number 1 and Venom right behind him. So that is my new listing for now. And pretty much my go-to is going to be our top 10. So from Captain America down to Iron Man. Then we've got my midsection from Captain Marvel being at the top and Black Panther being at the end. And then, of course, the cards I'm probably not playing with anymore unless somebody really wants to get a team up going on. We've got most of the Guardians and Valkyrie. So that's my list before the X-Men come out. Let me know your thoughts and what your favorites are for your games and which heroes you seem to gravitate towards most of the time. As always, hope you enjoyed this video. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.